Hey guys, this is Ryan. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a Google AdWords campaign for dentists. This is going to show you how to predictably get more patients for your dental clinic and do so on an automated basis. So once you set up a Google AdWords campaign, it's pretty much a lead generation machine. There are some tweaks that you need to make, and we'll go into that later on in this video. But for now, let's talk about why you want to use a dental PPC campaign in the first place. The information in this presentation is based off of 13 different dental clinics that I'm managing Google AdWords for. The benefit to working with so many different clinics is that you're able to spot patterns and apply those to each and every account. Now, these are two different accounts that we have that are performing quite well. The top one is a newer account that's less than 30 days old and has spent less than $1,000. However, they've still managed to achieve great results here. 32 conversions at $28 cost per conversion. And the fact is, we're actually not tracking every single conversion in this account. So there's about 18 different conversions that currently aren't being registered here. So our cost per conversion is likely less than $20 per. As far as conversions go, we're measuring calls, phone calls to the office of a certain duration, as well as appointment submissions, so appointment form submissions on the website. Down below, you're going to see an older account since July 2018 that has a bit more data in it, and you can see these trend lines very clearly. The cost per conversion is slowly going downwards over time, while the other metrics such as clicks and conversions and conversion rate are going up or remaining steady. I want to show you this because these are results that you can potentially get with your own Google AdWords campaign, and I'm going to be presenting all the information I've gathered from my 13 different accounts and giving that to you right here in this 35-minute video. So hopefully you guys stay to the end because there's a lot of gems of knowledge that you can take and apply to your own campaigns or hire someone to do it and do it effectively. So hopefully you enjoy this and let me know in the comments below any questions you may have. Enjoy. So there's some benefits to using Google AdWords as opposed to other platforms such as Yelp and Facebook. The first one is that Google AdWords is generally high converting, so a lot of the clicks that you're paying for to your website are likely going to turn into customers for your business. Now, you can get a lot of cheap leads using Facebook, but the problem there is that most of those leads don't actually end up in your office space. So with Google, people are already typing in their intent, what they're looking for. So they're most likely going to turn into customers that produce revenue for your business. And I don't know about you, but generally I want customers and revenue beyond just clicks to my website and leads. Second, Google ads are extremely predictable. You can track from the moment someone sees your ads all the way down to the point where they're actually in your clinic and a patient of your business. And if you want to get real advanced with it, you can track that lead all the way to their customer lifetime value. Third, Google advertising is extremely fast, so you're going to get results pretty much same day if you know what you're doing. I've set up campaigns for clients before, and within the very same day that we set it up and ran it, they got their first client off of it. And then fourth is something that most people don't consider, but Google ads are now preferred by Google because that's where they get all of their revenue from, is from businesses like you spending money on ads. You'll see a trend in the past 5 to 8 years where the space for advertising above the map area has expanded from 3 to 4 to 5, and now ads are even showing in the map area itself. So Google is trying to push all of their users to spending money on ads, and that's unfortunate, but you got to play the game. Next, we have some specific reasons why Google AdWords rock for just dentists. First off, as you may have already experienced, most of your patients stick with you for a very long time. As a customer or a patient myself, I've only had 2 dentists in my lifetime, and the only reason I changed was because I moved. That's something we'll get into a little bit later in this video. So this allows you to spend more money on the upfront to acquire a patient, knowing that they're likely going to stay with you for several years and their revenue is going to be quite high. Second, we have significant search volumes, and this really plays along with the third one as well, since dentistry is it's an evergreen industry. So dentistry is not going away anytime soon. and people are always going to need a dentist. And then lastly, we have a fairly relatively cheap cost per lead, and this kind of goes along with the first one. Because of your lifetime value, it's so high, you can afford to spend more upfront. But it turns out you're not really spending that much for a lead compared to other industries anyways. I'm getting leads for anywhere from $20 to $60 for just general dentistry, which is quite easy for most dentistries to afford, especially when the lifetime value of your clients or your patients are several thousands. There are a few challenges to using Google AdWords. The first is that you're limited by search volume, so you can't go out in your area and just make people need to have a dentist. How many people searching is how many people are searching, and how many clicks you get is limited. You're less limited on Facebook because you can do a little bit more persuasion, but that makes it a little bit more complex at the same time, and you're still limited even with that. Second is both a strength as well as a challenge. So we already mentioned that most patients stay with a business for a long period of time. So if your goal is to steal existing customers of your competition, Google AdWords most likely isn't going to do that. But what it will do is going to capture all the people that are new in the area or just newly looking for dentist offices that they can join. Then we get to who's going to get the best results with AdWords. And from what I've found, this is just preferable or ideal. So if you don't fall in this range, don't worry. But is generally on the outskirts of major cities, such as Boston here. And more specifically, anywhere that has a population between 100 to 400,000 is generally going to perform quite well. And especially when the population density is quite dense. So they're in a small area. This is just what I found, but if you fall on this range, then you're probably going to get really good results from a Google AdWords campaign. Second is businesses that have enough money to actually spend on ads. So I've talked to a lot of businesses who want to spend about $300, $500 on Google AdWords. I hate to say it, but you're not going to get great results at that amount of budget. A good rule of thumb is if you're trying to promote just general dentistry and you're in an area similar to what I just showed you here, then go for at least $1,000 a month. Just put that up and don't see it as an expense because you're actually if you have it set up correctly, you're going to get clients out of this. You're going to get patients. So you're going to make that money back. A lot of people, I think, see this as an expense and they see $1,000 a month and they're like, oh God, I can't do that. That's not that much money. So $1,000 a month for that single service. And then let's say you want to promote a specialty service such as like cosmetic, orthodontics, like implants, teeth whitening, etc. For each one of those, I would just tack on another $500 per month. So let's say you did all those, $2,000 in an area like I just showed you. It's probably going to get you some good results. Lastly, you want to make sure that your backend business processes are smooth and well connected. So you're going to be sending traffic from AdWords to your landing page or your website. And then from there, they're going to put in a contact form request or schedule an appointment or reach out to you by phone. So it's really important that your follow-up process is strong and that your front desk know how to handle inbound leads. From there, everything after that as well. So actually log in these people in a patient management software and then tracking that patient all throughout the process and making sure the entire process is smooth for them is going to increase the amount of ROI that you get out of your advertising. And honestly, I would really just focus on getting those processes really smooth and systemized before sending traffic to them in the first place. Okay, so let's get into how to promote services using Google AdWords. The first thing you want to know is, well, two things actually, are demographics and psychographics. This is perfect for you as the business owner because you likely have a lot of data on who your current existing patients are. Basically, where are they located, their age range, their income level, and whether they have a family or not. A family is like the ideal client because not only did you just get one patient, but you got like 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Now, most businesses are going to leave their market research at that. They're just going to leave it at demographics. But there's also a more important side of things, which is the psychographics of who your patients are. So you want to know like why people are actually searching for a new dentist. I can tell you from the campaigns that we ran, it seems to be people are new to the area. But beyond that, how do they feel about doing it in the first place? I can tell you that I generally don't like going to the dentist. Sorry, but that is just the fact of things. And I think a lot of dentists they're used to being at the dentist's office, and it's not a scary thing or a nerve-wracking thing to them anymore. But for most people, this is a chore. So as you see, you'll probably find a lot of people searching while they're at work or during their off time. You just got to think about how they're searching, and then how they feel about going in the first place. And a lot of adults and children are actually nervous about going to the dentist because there's pain involved, both physically as well as pain in their wallets, assuming they don't have insurance. But these are things you want to think about and understand about your current patients. And this is going to improve how you write copy in your ads, as well as who you target in the first place. So I'm just going to do a quick intro to Google Ads. This is going to be extremely basic. If you're more advanced, you can skip past this. But if you aren't too aware of them, stick with this. So let's say we perform a search in Google, dentist in Boston, Massachusetts. You're going to see these ads at the top here. Right here, we see Back Bay Boston Dentist. Google decides to show this ad based off of the keywords that a company like Back Bay Boston Dentist gave to them. And I'll show you down here, this keyword dentist Boston, Mass has these plus marks in front of them. These plus marks are called modifiers, and basically what these do, you can think of them as locks. So we're locking in the term dentist, we're locking in Boston, and we're locking in Mass. So any search query, this is what this is called, a search query, that contains dentist or some variation, Boston and Mass, it has to have all those, will show your ads, or you'll be eligible at least to bid. They're bidding as well, and they're probably outbidding competitors, so that's why they are higher up here. They're the number 1 spot, but you'll also see 3 and 4 and 5 spots down here, and 2 spots. So there's other ways that you can target using keywords. So this is a broad match right there, but I wish this would go away. Ugh. In the bottom right of the screen, you'll see 2 additional forms of keywords. You'll see the one with quotes around it. So this is known as a phrase match keyword. And essentially what this does is it locks in that exact phrase, the words in that order. So if you typed in, let's say, I need the best dentists in Boston, Massachusetts with the MA, your ad would be displayed. So as you can see, words can be in front of it or after it as long as that phrase is in that exact order. And then the last one with brackets around it is an exact match keyword phrase. So this is only when a user types in dentist Boston, Mass. However, there have been changes in Google since about half a year ago when they changed exact match keywords. So they're not quite exact anymore. There can be fillers such as in. So you could do like dentist in Boston or dentist around Boston, Mass. This is unfortunate. However, this is a change that most people need to be aware of, as these are not as strong as they used to be. So once the user actually clicks this ad, they'll be directed to your landing page. As you can see, their URL is linked right here, and they'll see something like this. And then there's a few things that they can do, and these can be tracked. You can track whether they actually reach out by phone call, whether they watched a video and how much they watched of it, or if they booked an appointment now. So these are important to have this set up correctly, because this is going to improve how often someone converts once they come to your landing page. The next step is just to determine what you want to promote in the first place. So this could depend on what you have. The next step is to determine what you want to promote in the first place. This could depend on what you have the systems for and what you have the budget for. For the most part, in this video, all my results that I'm showing are just for general dentistry, but you can also choose to target cosmetic, oral surgery, orthodontics, etc. Just figure that out at the start. Each new service is probably going to require more budget and more data to optimize, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so now we're at the high-level information when it comes to running a Google AdWords campaign for dentists. As you may already know, insurance plans are of high priority to a lot of people searching, and this is very apparent in a lot of my clients' campaigns. As you see in the right here is a search terms report. This shows all the search queries that people made before clicking their ads, And you can see a lot of people searching for a dentist that accepts and a dentist that takes certain insurance plans. So it's important for you to first off list out what insurance plans you accept on your website somewhere or on your landing page. And then secondly, you can even craft your ad copy to mention insurance specifically. As you see here, we say top rated dentist, accepts most major insurances, offering payment plans as well. So this is going to increase the amount of click-through rates because these are things that people are interested in, whether they're searching for it or not. But mainly I would put this stuff into a specific group of ads and group of keywords trying to target people searching for dentists that have certain insurance plans, and then write your ad copy specific to that, and then also send them to a landing page specific to the insurance plans that they're looking for. This is going to improve your conversion rates, and these are generally really high value search terms. Okay, so let's talk about structuring your campaign. There's searches that people make that contain the geography that they're looking for, like we saw before, dentist, Boston, Massachusetts. So we can target these with keywords with specific geo terms in them. But there's also searches that people are going to make that are near your dentist's office who don't actually contain any sort of geo modifier in there. So we'll target these people with dentist near me type non-geo terms. And we'll split these into two different campaigns just so we can see the performance of them, and if one is producing more or better leads than the other and the other one's just performing poorly, we can turn that one off and put more money into the one that's working. Okay, so we can further split this up by 2 geos and 2 non-geos based on where people are. We can target people searching for dentists. This would be Woburn, Mass, since we're targeting that area. But people in that area. So people searching with a geo modifier in your area, this is going to be your highest intent campaign. Then we could do people searching dentist Woburn, Mass, but aren't in this area. They're actually out in this area. These are still high value because a lot of people aren't searching while they're in your area. You can't just assume that they're searching while they're at home. A lot of people are actually searching while they're at work. So you want to capture that traffic as well. And since these people already indicated the area, Woburn, Mass, sorry, I misspelled everything. Well, not misspelled, but misinputted. You know that these people are probably living in that area, and that's why they're looking for a dentist there. Now we can split up the non-geos as well. Non-geo in your target area. So people around here just searching for generic dentist near me or dentist in my location. And then we got dentist geo searching for. So we can say people searching for this location with generic terminology. So searching for is a target option for Google AdWords. So you can just say people searching for this area right here. Even though they won't have the location details in the search query. For some reason, I don't know how Google does it, but basically Google can tell, maybe based off of their IP address and where it is generally, where they're living and what they're searching about in the first place. So this will give you sort of accurate searches as well, and it will increase the amount of volume you get to your campaign. These will likely convert the worst, but these will likely convert the worst, but they're still important to have in the first place just to see. You want to let the data do the talking and not just make assumptions. Secondly, you can do target neighboring town searches. So basically, it's going to be the geo campaign, like dentist Woburn, Mass, but instead you can target these surrounding towns. You can do dentist Burlington, Mass, dentist Reading, Mass, dentist Wakefield, Stoneham, Arlington, Melrose, Medford, Lexington, and you can make specific campaigns or ad groups for those. I would split it into its own campaign, each one of those, and just target those different words, just like you did in the other ones. And then for these ones, you don't really need to split it up like crazy. Just keep it as, and this is an option in Google AdWords for people in and searching for. You already know that they're searching for the geo area, so whether they're in it or outside of it doesn't really matter. So even though these are neighboring towns, people aren't always like stringent on what town it is in. They just type in that town because that's probably where they live. But if you're close by and convenient and you can create some sort of interest or you're just a better rated or a better looking company, people will travel to you, especially if it's, within 12 minutes away. But what you'll notice if you just do standard ads and don't indicate where you are and you bid on this is you'll get a standard amount of clicks, but you'll get a lower amount of people converting. So your conversion rate will be lower because they're essentially tricked. I'm air quoting there. So instead of tricking people, you actually want to turn down the people who are uninterested immediately in your ad. So what you can do is say 8 minutes from Old Saybrook, Connecticut, or basically this would be like 8 minutes from Burlington or whatever the actual time is, or 8-minute drive, 7-minute drive from Reading. So now you know that people who are clicking this are at least semi-aware of the fact that you're not in the town they searched for, but they're still interested in the first place. So what I've found is that this is going to improve your cost per conversion significantly because your traffic's just going to be better value. So now we get to writing your ads and some hacks to write better ads. First off, you want to split test your ads. Google's going to suggest that you do 3, but don't always take their suggestions. You don't need to have 3, especially when you're not getting a lot of data in your campaign. The less ads you have and the less tests you do, the faster you're going to be able to improve everything. I'm now noticing with this one, by the way, that I didn't split test correctly. But what a split test is when you change one variable to see if it changes the effects on your performance. So for this one, sorry, by the way, I have the block out client information, but the H1 is the same as this H1. And then the idea is only to change one of these headlines. So you'll love your new smile, get the smile you deserve. So that's changed, that's good. But our H3 here, achieve your dream smile, you'll love your new smile, should be the same exact thing. So this should be achieve your dream smile. Because now let's say this performs better. We're not sure which headline actually made it perform better. So you only want to be changing one thing at a time. But do notice that these descriptions are the same here. Okay, next up we have actually like writing the ads themselves. Oops. And as you can see, this is the target one where we notify them that we're 8 minutes from that area. And we didn't do this in the other ads, but you want to make sure that all these are filled out. Use the headline 1, use the headline 2, and use the headline 3, description 1, and description 2. Same with the display path. This is another area for you to add additional keywords in. And since the keyword that we're searching for is dentist Old Saybrook, we put that in the URL path here, and this is what's going to show to them. It will still send to your normal landing page, but it will just show this extra information. For the headlines here, it's important to hit on psychographics and the emotions of the person and what they're really looking for. If you can hack that, you'll have a huge leg up on your competition. So I suggest you actually do this by looking through reviews on specifically Yelp or Google reviews of both you and your competition, and basically look for 2-star and 3-star reviews because these people are less biased. They're going to be more critical, and they're going to have a better judgment about what that practice was and wasn't doing right. And you're going to find patterns in these. And I can just tell you straight up that pattern that we saw is a lot of people are going to a dentist not only because they want their teeth fixed, but because the dentist is friendly and it's a good environment. So by putting friendly in our ads, we found definitely a bump in our performance for our ads, meaning a lower cost per conversion. The click-through rates didn't really seem to change, but the cost per conversion did. So I would test out using friendly in your ads, but also do this anyways and read through the reviews because this isn't just useful for writing copy. This is useful for improving your business. Okay, so on to the next one is landing pages versus websites. Now, this is the website that we're sending traffic to in the campaign that I'm showing. But this is a website simply because it's got the navigation bar up here, about services, your visit, contact us, and it's just a standard website made for ranking in Google. But what you do to a website to rank it in Google is not the same as what converts well in PPC or Google Adwords. So if you're sending traffic to your home page, at least make sure that this one I would change. I'd put the phone number right up here, very clear. Request appointments, good right there. I would also, the insurance tab is under your visit. I would just make the insurance tab a navigation feature up here. But this is good, having like a clear call to action. And then you also want your ad or your landing page to be very specific about who you are and where you are. And this is where you can use keywords that you're targeting. So if you're targeting dentist in Woburn, Mass, you would want to put like top rated dentist in Woburn, Mass. This is going to help your quality score of your ads to help you pay less. And also just help the user to convert better once they land on your page, because they want to see that they found exactly what they were looking for as soon as they land on your page. Now, I would suggest using a landing page, but you can still send traffic. We got good results sending to a homepage like this. Just make sure that it's well designed and it looks clean like this. Like, this isn't anything special, but it gets the job done. But you're probably going to receive better conversions by using a landing page, which is essentially just a single page website. It's got no navigation. This one works around it, and I would go with this as well, where you have like a pull down menu for the navigation. Makes it less hidden and people get less distracted. And your landing page is essentially just pushing people towards a few actions. So they can either reach out by phone. It looks like they don't care as much about phone because it's kind of down there hidden. Or they could watch a video, or they could book an appointment now. I would kind of just go off of these people and notice how watch video, that's like showing the team. A lot of people are really interested in seeing the team because they want a friendly environment. Like it's nerve-wracking and a chore to go to the dentist, and people want a dentist that makes them feel good. So that's important. You could use them as a template here. And you'll also notice that this doesn't even scroll down further than this. This is the entire web page that they're sending to. So that's important. You can do either or, but my guess is that a landing page is going to work better for you. On second or third note, not sure where we are, but you also want to make sure that you set up a landing page for this for pretty much each service that you're promoting. So if you're promoting a service for just general dentistry, you could send them to a page like this, or if you're doing something for implants, you send them to a different page similar to this, but use a headline that indicates that you perform implants. People just want to see what they're looking for, and they're going to convert better when you do so, and it's going to improve your quality score of your ads. Next up, we have negative keywords, which are similar to your normal keywords that you plug into your campaign, but they do the opposite. They tell Google, don't show my ads when any of these words are shown in the search query. These are super important, and a lot of people do not take these as seriously as they should. Usually I'll create lists similar to this that have categories, basically like brand terms, competitors, global, just insurance-based terms that are not indicative of somebody looking for a dentist, but something that's sort of related. So let's just jump over to one of these. So this is the brand limiting one that I had. Basically anybody who's searching for specific like roads or streets, this is called brand limiting because it might limit some people searching specifically for your brand, but you should be ranking for that anyways, and they'll convert. So you don't necessarily need to bid on that. If you do want to bid on brand, might as well just make a new campaign and don't negate these. But for the most part, you're going to negate a lot of low quality searches by indicating all these different forms and variations here. So street, road, United States, trail, www, all these random terms. So I actually created a complete list of this. If you want to reach out, the link is in the description below. I'll send you my entire list of negatives for dentists, and just make sure those are in your campaign. And of course, just double check them as well, because some might not apply to you. But I'll go over two other like pattern keywords that you can definitely negate. A lot of people looking for a new dentist are looking specifically for a doctor. So they type in like doctor blank dentist, doctor name dentist. So you might as well just go through your entire estate and have people just hire someone for super cheap to look up literally every dentist and put their names as a negative, because you don't want to show up on those searches unless you make a competitor campaign where you're bidding against them. Another thing that you can do is negate the word dental or dentistry. You got to be careful with this one, but for the most part, when people are searching for dentistry and dental, especially on the generic campaigns where you're just doing like dentist, Most of the time, people are searching for a specific place. So they're saying blah, 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 family dentist, dentistry, or something dental, or dental of. So having keywords like that is going to negate a bunch of your competitor searches, and is really important. You can also do non-target areas, like pretty much every town around you that you don't want to target, put those as negatives. And I also even do other states that you're not targeting, so the states and the acronyms for them. Just be careful of Indiana, which acronym is IN. That's going to negate dentist in terms, which are really good, and so you don't want to do that. And then Maine, which has ME as the acronym, which is near me. That's going to negate near me's, so don't do those ones. Then we now have call extensions. Call extensions are awesome to use for most industries. I'm still trying to figure out whether I'm allowed to even use this, and whether it falls under HIPAA compliance using call extensions. I've talked to 2 Google reps so far, and they told me we're totally fine to use call extensions, but I'm not sure whether they misheard my question. But I just want to mention that I'm not a lawyer, so please do your own research with this and implement these at your own risk. But if it is the case that we can use call extensions, then definitely use this, because it's going to drop your cost per conversion most likely, because it gives this handy little click to call feature on mobile devices under your ads. Allows people to just instantly call your offices, which is pretty powerful. So yeah, implement those at your own risk. Next, we have location extensions. Dentists are very location based, so people searching for dentists, they care about where you're located. So this means that a lot of people are going to be going to the maps area as well to look for a dentist, because they want convenience as well as quality. And what a location extension does is it puts this little box under here similar to the call extension. That's the call extension when they're both combined. But it allows them to open up your Google My Business information, which is like a little panel of information giving your hours, your business name, your reviews, another click to call feature for them to call you, directions, etc. But most importantly is location extensions allow you to now be viable to show your ads in the map pack area. So as long as you have these on, you're now able to be shown in here, and you don't need to do anything else besides enabling these. These are super powerful because they got the click to call in the mobile version, and a lot of people come here and you can instantly jump to the top using ads, which is crazy important. And then the third position that most people don't know about is when people are on their apps on their phone and you have a location extension, you can also show up on their Google Maps ad as well. So if they're looking for directions to places on their phone, your pin can be essentially promoted. And lastly, but definitely not least, is conversion tracking. You want to make sure that you're measuring conversions. So that's phone calls of a certain length to your business, or form submissions on your website. And you want to pull that information back into Google Adwords so that you can see how effective your ad campaigns are. Otherwise, you're essentially just throwing money into the wind and watching as it blows by. I've seen so many people doing this, and it's literally impossible to improve a campaign or know how it's performing without this. So if you did all the stuff previous to this but didn't set up conversion tracking, don't even do it. And I would say if you are currently hiring an ad agency to run ads for you and they don't have conversion tracking, I would probably just instantly fire them because they don't know what they're doing. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. You need those set up. As you can see here, clicks to call, local actions. These local actions come from your location extension, which it pulls up that little knowledge panel, the GMB panel. And if people get directions to your place, it will measure that too. And it will also measure the calls from like the click to calls. So yeah, as long as you're measuring calls from your ads, calls from your website, as well as appointment and contact request form submissions, then you're good, and you'll be able to improve your campaign and see how it's performing. So with that set up, you'll be able to analyze your results, and it's important to note that a lot of people think Google AdWords is just like instantly set and forget, and now I'm getting great cost per conversion. This can sometimes be the case if you know what you're doing right away, but for the most part, you're gonna you usually get cost per conversions that are higher at the start, and then over time you should be able to reduce that with consistent management. But another thing to note too is like, don't go into this thinking you're going to run it for a couple months. I would say if you don't plan on running Google Ads for at least 4 or 5 months, then I wouldn't even do it in the first place. Just because you won't be able to see trends on a small enough time scale. As you can see here, this account is less than a month old, and we got a significant amount of conversions at a really good cost per conversion. But this is just not enough data to spot trends. So instead, in this other campaign that we have, it's been running for a longer period of time, so since July. But also I have this data presented on a monthly basis, so that's why the lines are more smooth here. But this is pretty much what you want to see, is the cost per conversions. You don't necessarily want to see it starting high, but progression downwards is good. And then conversion rate, progression upwards, the green line, and then conversions going upwards as well. Conversions will be seasonal. I mean, all this really will be seasonal. You'll notice certain months perform worse than others. Like this, like if you look close enough, they just go up and down, but on a long enough time scale, everything smooths out. And this is going to be how you analyze the total health of your campaign over time, is by giving it a good amount of time. I would say 6 months, honestly, and putting a certain amount of data into it. It's a data game. Google's all about enough data, and once you get that data, then you can make like serious optimizations, and you'll start to see this cost per conversion drop and drop and drop over time. The longer you run this, you're going to build a really dialed in asset that just runs without like very minimum maintenance on your part or your agency's part, and it's going to bring in a lot of revenue to your business. So that's pretty much it for this, guys. Hopefully that was useful to you, had some tidbits for you to implement yourself or to look at for if you're hiring an agency. If you need any help with this, then feel free to reach out to me at ryan@absurdity.com. My website is ryanmarkets.com. I know there's a difference there. I'm currently transferring my email to that new domain. So if you have any questions, want to work with me, talk to me through email, and then also have those links in the description below for the negative keyword list, as well as to my website. So let me know if this all made sense to you guys in the comments below. Like the video if it adds some value, and subscribe for more content around Google AdWords and local SEO. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.